Hello and welcome back to this CK2 tutorial series with me, Midgeman. So last time, if you haven't seen that episode, we set up our court, we did our first opening moves, and kind of began to understand some of the mechanics within the game. We got our son married, and we're trying to improve opinions with people, but now we're going to talk about war. So as you can see up here, sorry about that. We have a ducal claim we can press. So if we click that, we can actually declare war on this gentleman here, the chief of Briefine, and add him to our realm because he de jure belongs to our duchy. As you can see, we actually have two of those claims, Uman and Briefine. So let's check this first guy. Over here, you can see that he has 400 troops to his name. 391 of them are from him, and 32 of them are from his vassals. Now, if we compare that to our own strength, we have 381, so we're not quite strong enough to fight him. But we have potential ally vassal troops at 280. So we'll be able to call in our tribal vassal here, and he'll also raise his troops to fight. Now, tribes combat works slightly different to normal combat. When raising troops in the military screen, which you have to do after a war has been declared in this game, you can't have your troops pre-raised. Tribal vassals, as you can see, it says, I've got no vassal troops. That's because tribes, you have to call them in as allies, and they can refuse to send their troops. As a feudal system government, you can just raise your vassals' troops because it's their obligation to, and it's in the feudal rules that they have to do it. Now, do note that if you raise vassal levies, they will receive a negative modifier the longer you have vassal levies raised. So we do technically have enough troops to beat this guy, but only if our vassal comes in. Let's have a look at the other tribe. Now, he has even more troops. So what can we do about this? Well, we can declare the war and hope for the best, which I think I'm going to do. But also, if you look in the military screen, if you had the money to do so, you could hire mercenaries. And this is how many mercenary troops you'd get, what they all cost, and how much they cost a month, and how much they flat cost to hire. So if you're ever in a tight pickle, you can hire mercenaries to help you out. Now, I'm just checking. Tribes also have an extra thing where they're allowed to raise tribal levies due to having large amounts of prestige. But if we look at this guy, he has very low prestige. He's not going to be able to do that. So we're going to right-click him, bring up the interaction options, and we're going to declare war on him. We're going to use our de jure claim. Oh, no, we can't. We need a higher prestige. Well, what can we do about that? Okay, so our prestige is gaining at +1 per month. Plus 1.7, sorry. So that's going to take a long time to get to 250 prestige. Now, if we unpause, we might need to cycle through a few months. I'm going to put it to the max speed just to get this going. And in the meantime, we need to try and grab some more prestige. Oh, look, an observatory event. Our observatory is finally ready. We get +1 learning for studying the stars. Very cool. So we now have a 19 learning. So, what can we do to gain ourselves some prestige? Right, why not join an order? Oh, they've changed this. So, orders, anyway, are special groups and societies that you can join. So this is the Societies tab, which allow you to explore and give your character almost like a job to do. And so there's the Benedictine Order of Monks, which allow you to, if you're a Catholic, these are the ones available to Catholics. There's the Benedictine Order, the Dominican Order, which are both holy orders. They allowed you to be good Christians and help other people. The Dominicans hunt Satanists, and the Benedictines are like tenants, basically. There's the Hermetic Society, which is the Science Society, which is the one I was hoping to join. But we can't do that as a tribal government, so that's unfortunate. And then there's also Lucifer's Own, which you can't directly join, but you can try and hear about it. But you must be a sinner for that. And we're not a sinner. We don't have any sins. So, what are we going to do for prestige? Well, I can think of maybe we should use a different CB. So, as you notice, there's a different set of CBs. We can, instead of going for the ducal claim, the de jure claim on Connaught, we can use the de jure claim on Brifan, on the province itself. So we're going for the province itself, and instead of making this person a vassal underneath us, we will try and take it ourselves. So do note that you can do that, and we do have the room to do so. So we might want to do that. There's the border dispute CB as well, which there's tension on the borders we can try and take out. But again, this requires piety and money this time, so that's a no-go. There's forced vassalization, which is the same as a de jure ducal claim, but they don't have to be part of your de jure duchy to do so. There's extort tribute, which allows them to you to set them as a tributary state, and the same with established tributary state. They have different versions of the same rough CB. A tributary state is a state that becomes a vassal of yours until your ruler dies, and they pay money, and you can call them into wars, but they don't directly join wars. So it's a good way that if you're planning on taking somewhere, but you don't have any claims yet, but you also don't want them to fall to the hands of someone else. If you make them a tribute, you become, basically, after you beat them, you become their overlord for a while, and if they're declared on, you can join their wars. But we're actually going to go for the de jure claim on the province rather than the duchy level. So we're going to send this, and then we're going to go to the military screen and raise our troops. And we're also going to click this button here to call all tribal and nomadic vassals to war. So you notice the flag icon came up there. That meant we could call allies in, but we're going to do it through the tribal screen because oh, I need to turn the speed down. We're going to call tribal levies. Oh, I didn't check. He's able to raise even more troops right now. So he's attacked us because I wasn't watching there. And another good thing is make sure you're on a slower speed before you declare war. That was a big faux pas from me. So if we click on this, this shows us the battle, the ongoing battle. So he's the attacker here. He has this many troops on 2 flanks out of the 3. So he has the center flank and the left flank. And then there's us, the defenders. We only have men on the center flank, and this is the amount of men we have. So, now he gets a bonus because he's got units flanking us. He also has himself as the... he has a commander here, and we have our commander here, which is our son. Our son is leading this battle, which could prove hazardous for him, and he has more troops right now. So let's see how this battle ticks out. Our morale can be seen here. He has the combined morale here. I think he's going to win this battle unless we can do something. Hello, sorry to jump right in. I am just going to show you a little bit about the actual composition of battles. So, I am currently playing as the Holy Roman Empire, just using another example in 1067. We're at war with France, and the French here are coming in to attack our forces here. Now, one of the main things to make sure before you go into a battle or you're defending a battle is that your army has a leader for each possible flank. If you see over here, there's 3 flanks. One's led by Philip, one's led by Achille, and one's led by Odin. These are people who have the minor title of commander or available to you that you've listed as commanders. Now, here's so if I click these guys, I don't think these guys are going to be my best troops because I'm still trying to get all my forces together, so all of my leaders are probably in different places. But what you can do is instantly switch these out for different commanders. So we're looking for people with 1 high martial skill, or we're looking for people with bonuses. So, for example, this guy, Pierre, Duke of Savoy, he's an organizer and a tough soldier. So I'm actually going to put him in my center, commanding it. Have the troops a lot more organized. Then on the flank, I'm going to put this guy called Marino here, the Lord of Urbino. He is a flanker, so he has a bonus to leading on the flanks. Hence why, even though he has the higher combat modifier stat here, I didn't put him in the center. It's far better to put him on a flank where he has, where he can do a lot more damage. Furthermore, I want to see if can I put that on that flank just to make sure he has more cavalry. And then third in command, let's put our let's put Werner on the right flank. Now we have less men right now, and the French are still going to be coming, but we've got a lot of reinforcements on the way, which will hopefully swing the tide of this battle. But notice here as well, right here, there's a little globe well, it's not a globe icon, it's a river icon. This is because King Philip of France will be getting a river crossing, and it gives all of those negative debuffs. So if you were to look on here, there is a river on this terrain map mode. Terrain map mode is only very good for battles and if you're sure of where you want to fight. So, lots of different areas of the map give you different bonuses. So, obviously, a river is a defensible terrain. Forests are defensible terrains. Hills and mountains are defensible terrains. Deserts give different effects. So, it's always good to know where you're fighting. And you can get bonuses to offset these things. But if you're attacking, you need to be mindful that you might be crossing a river, and if you click on a province, it will tell you where a river flows between it from. So these are the if you were going from one province to another, that's where you'd get the crossing from. Right, so let's quickly see how this goes. I don't care about that, but instantly, because we've got reinforcements, they do have better generals than us, but we've almost been able to match their numbers, so I'm not too worried about this fight. Oh look, my studies of warfare. I will be an inspiring leader. And yeah, our reinforcements are just coming in. As you can see, each flank has its own morale. We've actually lost one of our flanks here. And also, our army has switched who's in command of where. This will happen sometimes if reinforcements think they have a better leader for a flank. So we've lost a leader on that flank on the right there. So do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put Philippe, Mayor of Offensburg, on the flank of this army that's about to reinforce, and hopefully, before these guys retreat, yeah, we got a leader back on that flank. You always want to make sure you have leaders on the flank. Now, in combat, there's multiple rounds available to you, and as you can see, we're in like an archery phase, and we've actually made their left flank and their center flank retreat. So this battle's not going to be long. He's still got 6,000 troops in the field, but only 2,000 of them are actively fighting. The rest are just being run down by my troops. Our right flank has fallen, but again, well, our center flank and our left flank are just piling in. We're really crushing them now. And it's basically, battles work as a big game of rock, paper, scissors. Each one has a cavalry round, volley tactics round, and if you have a certain amount of units in your army, you'll be able to unlock tactics per round. So it's always good to have a mixed composition in CK2 of the light infantry, pikemen, archers, heavy infantry, light horse, and heavy horse. There are other ones depending on different nations you play as, and different cultures have bonuses to different military styles. So, for example, I being German, I am of German lineage. If I click on one of my provinces, this is one of the easiest ways to show you, I have bonuses to heavy cavalry because I can build jousting lists. That's the same for French, Occitan, Norman, Breton, and Ottoman. I didn't say that last one right. But if I was going to go to England, they have housecarls, so they have bonuses to heavy infantry, which I believe is the same as Sweden. I want to say it's the same as Sweden. Yes, it is. So, like, all the not Norman, Anglo-Saxons and Norse share heavy infantry as their bonus. If I was over here, it might be horse archers, you know, cataphracts for Byzantium, elephants for people in India. But yeah, so we're just going to continue this. Logistics and organization. I'm turning out to be quite a good commander. And good. We beat that French army. We're going to reselect these leaders. Make sure I'm in the center here. And now I'm going to see if I can chase them down. As you can see, after a battle, if you have the mode on for them to do so, they have Shattered Retreat, like in EU4. He's going to run away and run away to one of his home provinces. And yeah, I'm going to go back to the live scenario where I problem solve what's going to be some failed battles in Ireland. But you'll see what you can do in those situations if you lose out in this battle, unless we can do something. Well, do you know what we can do? We can borrow some money from the Jews. So if we go into our decisions, we borrow money from Jewish money merchants, and then we can raise ourselves some mercenaries. So I am going to grab the Saxon band. I'm going to hire them. They're going to cost me quite a lot of money, but it'll be worth it. Now you can see we have lots of troops. Notice that they have this red bar here. This means they are currently out of morale. They're very weak. And that will slowly tick up over time, but we don't have time right now. I need to swarm these guys with sheer numbers. I'm going to set myself to one of these flanks as a commander, because you can set the commanders yourself. We don't have enough commanders to actually be able to set them to all the flanks, because one of them's currently locked in combat. I want to see if I can get here before the combat loses. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. Nope, we failed. But our armies are locked in. This means that there's no hope. We will 100% go into the battle. Right, we need to reinforce. Luckily, the sheer numbers we have versus the morale they had suffered in the previous combat meant that they're weak enough that I think we're going to be able to beat them. Now, as you notice, I'm focused on war right now, but I'm still getting events. This is going back to our observatory event. Spent many nights looking at the paths of the observatory. It's truly fascinating. There are so many questions to ask. How does stars move, or is there something strange out there? These are the two different event chain paths. I am going to go for, is there something strange out there? Purely because there's a certain event. Oh, wow. They actually beat us again. We're just cycling troops in. This isn't good. We need to stop this. I'm trying to talk about it too much right now. Right, as you notice, these guys are slowly getting some morale. We're losing these battles, and we're very close to losing this war purely because of mismanagement here. So I do urge you that battles, you need to take care on them. Right, I'm going to leave it for the month to tick over here now. We're losing money right now because we can't afford... So we're losing money because the mercenaries are costing so much money. But we've got that pool of money we've got from the moneylender, so we should be okay right now. Our son was captured in the battle, and that's why our war score is so low. I didn't even notice that. We can ask to ransom him, but they're not going to let him go. We're going to have to win. So by leaving it a month, it allowed our morale to tick up, our troops to get their feet back together, because their feet completely fell off. No, it allows them to get on the side, and you see this time we won that battle. I can actually put another leader. Actually, he should be leading the battle at 13 with us on one of the flanks. So there's a lot of things that lead to good commanders. Martial ability is one thing, so the higher martial skill, the higher bonuses you get, but there's also combat abilities, which we will hopefully see. Maybe we will gain one, maybe we won't. Right, so we won that battle, and their troops are now broken and on the run, so they'll disappear off trying to find them. We could chase them down to try and wipe out their army, or we could start sieging their province. I'm actually going to focus on sieging their province, and see if we can free our son from combat. From the prisons of Briefine. Now, if we look at a siege overview, this is a siege overview. When you click a province you have an army on, you get the siege overview. It tells you how many attackers there are and how many defenders there are. It also gives you the button to attempt an assault. It's risky, but we can try and force our men into the combat rather than sieging it. I, however, am just going to let it siege. We've got a lot of men. It will just happen over time. Their army's running away somewhere. We have all the time we need. We don't need to rush this siege. The rough estimate of what men you need to assault a siege safely as well is 10 to 1. So we would need about 3,000 men to successfully assault this siege, I believe. That's the rough estimate I go with anyway, on my head. We're running out of money, and for example, this could be an interesting point. If we were about to run out of money and we needed this siege to happen before the mercenaries possibly changed sides or left us, we could assault. And hey, if you assault a siege with mercenaries and the mercenaries start dying, you don't have to pay them, you know? So we've noticed the enemy armies coming back here, and they're moving from the province of Meath to the West Meath. So I've sent my army that's finished the siege of this first holding, not the second holding. Notice you have to individually siege each holding of a province. Unlike E4 or other Paradox games, you have to individually do each holding as the siege. My son had a daughter in the midst of this battle while he's in prison. He wasn't there for the birth of his first child. And it's a daughter by the name of Imag. That's the name we're going to use. So we can talk about children in education in the next episode. But we're going to focus on the combat here. Okay, so we are beating their army down again. And now you notice that the war score in the bottom corner over here in this little icon is gone to positive. My cursor is out of line, so I really do apologize there. It's because I'm using the wrong type of window capture. I will... Give me 2 seconds. Oh, that's so embarrassing. I will in my edit put arrows in to show you the things I've actually been pointing at then. Okay, so we've had an event appear for the astronomy events. So, observing the stars at night, you have begun to sense some irregular movements. You also notice that some stars seem to appear and disappear at odd times. You need to study this more. That star disappears when I look directly at it. There's a 30% chance we become paranoid, but we also gain the diligent trait. Now, the diligent trait, well, we did become paranoid as well. We didn't become diligent. I was about to say the diligent trait is one of the best traits in the game, because it adds modifiers to all of your stats. Paranoid, however, increases our intrigue, but removes a point from our diplomacy, because paranoia makes us more suspicious of people, apparently. Makes sense. Now, we're going to try and siege out the final holding they have here, and I'm actually going to force this assault, but not quite yet. I'm going to wait for them morale to have ticked down. So the siege ticks happen every 12 days currently, because they're very outnumbered and there's other modifiers there. So I'm actually going to put the speed up and let this siege go down. They're bringing their army back. We haven't completely wiped them out yet. And they're going to try and walk around us again, probably appear in one of our provinces and siege that down. It's what the AI tends to do. Oh, nope, they're unsure. Our court chaplain here has been successful in making the Pope like us a bit more, which is good. We'll just pass that on. Okay, so we're losing 10 ducats a month. So we have roughly 8 months before the mercenaries will leave our side, but it doesn't matter. We're at 100% on this siege, which means we're 100% on the war because there's only one province. And we can enforce our demands. So let's do so. We've enforced our demands. This guy has become our vassal, and our son has been released. We can now dismiss this army by disbanding the units here. The mercenaries will go, and so will the thing. He will now not... He's now a vassal of ours, and he doesn't like us. So we've declared war on him. We've defeated him. There's a short reign, and he wants a seat on the council. Right, we can fix that one. Right, let's try and sway this man. Let's make him on our side a little bit more, and we can give him a seat on the council. So what's he good at? He's a good diplomat, and he's also very learned, same as me. Well, he's far better than our current diplomat, but our current diplomat is a powerful vassal in himself. Ah, do you know what we can do here? We can go to this guy. We can look here. He has decent stewardship as well. Far better stewardship than our current steward. So let's change his position on the council. So we right-click him, bring up all the interaction options, change council position, and bring up the options. He should be my steward. Yes. So he's now the steward, and we have a free council, and it switches him and the steward. The steward is now our chancellor. Not very good chancellor. Let's put the new guy on the council. However, this brings me to something else of note. If we go to my council, we have council opinions. So this is the way they're likely to vote. We have 3 zealots, 1 glory hound, and someone who is malcontent. This guy doesn't like us. He's not likely to vote with us on the council. But that might change once he has a better opinion of us. So we'll be doing that. Oh, good. My Steam overlays have come up. I do apologize. But anyway, that's a war complete. And that is the basic mechanics of war. You saw me lose. You saw me win. So I think that gives you a good overview of war. And I'm going to end this episode here. Next up, we will be talking about intrigues. And we're going to try and get a plot going. Right. I will see you guys in the next video. I've been Midgeman. Bye-bye.